Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Good to see you this morning. And on Facebook. We're just waiting for all of our social media channels to tune in this morning. Good morning, guys. Give me a shout out and let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I'd love to know who's tuning in right now. Let's see. From the Bronx, welcome, welcome. I love it. Good morning from Ohio. Good to see you guys from Ohio, from New York. See Clayton, New Jersey. That's where I was born. I love it. Danville, PA. Hello to my beautiful wife who just commented. Thank you for the encouragement. Indonesia, that's awesome. Let's see, Coventry, amazing. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started for this morning's 7 at 7. I wanted to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Paul. I'm the Associate Campus Pastor at our Uptown location. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to all our amazing volunteers at the Uptown campus. You guys are the most loving, caring, and generous people that I get to serve with. So thank you so much for everything you do. It's an honor to get to do what I get to do alongside all of you. Well, welcome to 7 at 7. I want to just let you know a little bit about myself. A fun fact about me. I was actually born in New Jersey. Both my parents and my grandparents were born in Argentina. And my father lineage is actually Eastern European. So that explains why in the winter and spring I become pale like this, but during the summer I bronze up quite nicely. So that's kind of the melting pot of cultures that I've experienced in my life. But again, welcome to 7 Mile Miracle. We're on mile 5 of a 7-mile journey based out of Pastor Stephen's book, 7 Mile Miracle. If you haven't gotten it yet, I encourage you to purchase it. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it at Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold. Make sure you pick up a copy. It's such a unique perspective on the last moments of Jesus on the cross. And so I encourage you to purchase that if you haven't yet. But the word that we're going to be going through today is distress. And I know that that's not really a positive word, but it's based out of something that Jesus said on the cross. It's 3 simple words, but there's so much meaning behind it. Jesus said, I am thirsty. I am thirsty. Again, 3 simple words, but so much behind those words. And while Jesus was experiencing intense spiritual, physical, and emotional pain, it's a pain that he embraced because of the process that he was going through on the cross. Now, I need to confess something about myself, though. I want to be super vulnerable. This is something that I haven't told many people, honestly, but I hate pain. I hate pain. And I know maybe that is bizarre to you, or maybe you don't relate to that, but I hate experiencing pain. I feel like some of my life, in fact, most of my life is spent avoiding painful experiences or avoiding painful things. But in fact, I actually didn't go to the dentist for 10 years because I hate pain so much. I had a painful experience when they were drilling out a filling, and that ended up not being great for me. Don't worry, I've been to the dentist since. I know my wife was horrified when I told her that as well. But I believe that pain has power. So if you have ever been a kid, or if you have children, then you know that if you touch the hot stove, that's a reaction that happens, and it teaches us something about the hot stove. You see, pain is so powerful that it can change our perspective forever. If we experience one painful experience, it can change our perspective forever. You see, pain has power when it's paired with purpose. And on page 122 of the book, Pastor Stephen says something so profound on 7 Mile Miracle. He says, you push through the pain because you know it's achieving a purpose. And let me explain this dichotomy that we're experiencing here. So if you look back at the most painful experiences of your life, you can usually categorize it into one of 2 areas. The first area that you can categorize it as is a positive experience. In fact, pain can bring about positive results. And so an example might be a painful breakup that you experienced, or the ending of a relationship from someone who, looking back, was not who God had in store for you. Now, although the breakup was painful, its purpose was positive. So pain can be an indicator of progress. And the second way that you can experience pain is negatively. For example, you might have been abused when you were younger, and now it affects all the relationships that you experience today. You bring insecurity to every interaction. See, pain can also draw a perimeter around our lives, limiting where God can take us. Now, it's not necessarily a good or bad thing to react either way, but the important thing to remember is that pain always elicits a reaction. Now, the worst type of pain that we can experience in our life. And if we look at pain and we say it was negative, at least we know it's teaching us something to avoid. If we look at the pain that we experience and it's positive, we at least know it's producing a product. But the hardest type of pain that I believe that we can deal with today is pain that lacks purpose. You see, pain is easy to deal with until I don't know why I'm going through it. I wanted to tell you a story. I mentioned earlier that I'm from New Jersey. My parents are from Argentina. And that meant that I grew up eating meat for every single meal. So maybe that was morning for breakfast and lunch and dinner. We ate steak, we ate meat all the time. But it also required that I loved soccer. And I still love soccer. Soccer was in my blood. My family and I still watch soccer whenever it's on the television. But I played soccer in high school. And so my passion carried on. And I wanted to play soccer in high school. And I'll never forget my freshman year, the first day of soccer practice. My coach came up to our team and he said, listen, we're not going to ever be the most skilled team on the field. We're not going to be the most knowledgeable team on the field, but we will be the most conditioned team on the field. And I looked at him and I was so excited until I realized what that meant. And that meant that every single one of our practices was running. We would wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning during the summer and run for 2 hours. We'd go home and have lunch. We'd come back and we'd run. And then on the weekends, we would run. And then we'd come back during the week and run. And once the school year started, we would run. It was absolutely miserable. We hated every moment of it. It was a painful process and we hated everything about running until the first game of the season. See, we started the game and it wasn't going so well for us, but we started to realize that as the game went on, our conditioning kicked in. And we started to see that we were winning games because we could last longer in the game than the other teams. Our conditioning was kicking in. We saw the purpose behind the painful experience of running, and it was paying off, and we saw the benefits, and we saw the product that it was producing. Now, it didn't mean that I woke up every morning excited about the idea of running, but seeing the product that God was producing in our team, it was purpose enough to sustain us through the pain. And so when we ran, we knew we were running because it would help us have a victory. Now the question I want to ask you today, this morning, as you're tuning in with us, is can you see your pain for what it really is? You see, if we see pain as a punishment, then we will live our whole life thinking that God is out to get us. But if we can see that our pain has power, when we see the purpose, it changes everything about how we live our lives. And I don't know what you might be going through today that's causing you pain. In fact, you might be experiencing something today and you don't know why. You don't know why you're going through it. Maybe it was a loved one who was taken from you far too soon. It could have been something someone said to you that has broken the lens through which you see yourself. Maybe you're struggling with an addiction and it's not even your fault. It was passed down to you by someone else, and now you're left to deal with the rubble. But I want to encourage you this morning. If you look with me at Colossians 1:24, Paul is writing this, and he says something so paradoxical to the way that we experience our lives, and I believe it's going to help someone today. And he says in Colossians 1:24, I am glad when I suffer for you in my body, for I am participating in the sufferings of Christ that continue for his body, the church. Now, why in the world would Paul, someone who's been in prison, someone who's been stoned before, use the word glad to describe his suffering? That doesn't make any sense in the context of experiencing pain. But what Paul did, and it's the same thing that you can do today, is that he attached purpose to his pain. God was using the pain in his life to produce something that he couldn't produce by himself. And so the thought that I want to leave you with today for 7 at 7 is the understanding that we might not be able to choose the pain that we experience in life. We can't always dictate the situation that we're going through. However, you do get to choose your perspective. Will you let the pain you're experiencing today define you, or will you define the pain? Because the same power that rose Jesus from the dead, the same power that gave Paul the ability to define his pain in prison is what you're able to do today. And I believe that whatever you're going through today can be used by God to achieve a purpose that you may not see right now. We can feel freedom, we can feel purpose, and we can feel a distinct ability to walk through life knowing that our perspective needs to change. Our pain has power because God can give it purpose. I speak that word over you today. I believe that anything you're going through can produce something amazing in you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for 7 at 7. I hope this word spoke to you specifically. I'm so glad you tuned in. If you need prayer, I encourage you to email amen@elevationchurch.org. We would love to hear from you, love to hear how we can pray for you. Thank you guys for joining us this morning.